said that.
Tanner's a big.
I don't want to give away
Willie.
things for.
Tanner's a big
Tanner
Willie
likes
fan?
good music.
Well, yeah. I mean, like you were always on my mind.
Yeah, I mean, how could you not like Willie Nelson?
Honestly, yeah. And probably
You're going to catch contact there. So
That's what I was thinking. I was like, they probably
He
left
smoked weed on top of the White House with Jimmy Carter's son.
in the basketball court.
I don't know. Like, they were on top of the White House. That's all I know. And, like, Jimmy Carter confirmed that it happened.
Jeez, dude. Jimmy Carter's still alive. That's the
Yeah, and
craziest
people are still
part.
listening to his opinion on
yeah,
politics
Jimmy
at, like,
cracked
a
corn
billion
and I do
years old.
care.
Came to your old job one time.
Yeah, you
You
did.
know that?
Whip
Back in the
and dip.
90s?
Yeah,
Back in the whip and
whipped-
dippers?
He whipped some dips.
He does. Whip and
Derek
dippers.
Jeter used to come in all the time.
Really? Did you see him? What was his choice flavor?
Did you touch his penis?
Wasn't for him. He used to come in and get his kids ice cream.
Boo.
Oh, okay.
Really?
But he always wore like a hoodie because
Okay.
like he didn't want to be recognized. And
It's
I
a
get-
good way to
Yeah.
look inconspicuous.
if
well,
everybody's...
but not. He wouldn't always wear the hood up, but he would always wear like big baggy clothes, so that nobody.
So nobody could tell.
So you try to
from
look
the- from the
homeless
shape
is your
of his
goal?
he's
wang.
like, but he's like a big dude. He's
Yeah, I
like,
mean.
So we're talking like Arnold Schwarzenegger in any movie. He's trying to look like a normal person. It's like,
he's not quite that big.
he's not quite that huge. Yeah,
Arnold's big even for like big people.
Arnold.
They're like, fuck,
Arnold.
it's Arnold.
it's big for even Arnold. Then when he came in, his kids would get what Rocky Road and
Nah, they would just get whatever.
Yeah.
And then I gave it to him like really discounted once, and he was like, and I was like, he's like, what? I'm like, I know.
Yeah,
who you
he's
are.
like, you don't need to do that.
yeah, but
Yeah.
I'm like,
I just bought this place.
yeah.
Like, I sneezed on everything.
You'd be like, "That's that'll be $20, Mr. Jeter." What's a 20?
Yeah.
keep it under $1 billion. It's all I've got.
It's like, those are all on
On
the
me.
rolls of toilet paper at my house.
Oh Lord, we're trying to think. Well,
Don't hurt yourself.
I'm trying to think. Yeah, and that was
Falling off any headaches. Might
all for cramps. Richard, what's happening? Anyway, welcome back to another episode of Nostalgialand.
Yay!
We're here. We got
And
toesies.
today we're putting baby in a bubble.
We got them grippers.
Good luck shoving that baby in a corner then, because it's not going to fit. It's all rounded up and around there. Oh my Lord! Today we're still going back to the time of Shrek, and the time of I think Road Trip was 2001. And now we're getting into Bubble Boy. We
Jake Gyllenhaal stars in the movie Bubble Boy.
and Donnie Darko. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's what I meant to compare it to. Is we got Creepy Jake and we got Silly Jake in the same freaking year, dude.
So
like, how
weird.
do you?
Ed Machete.
Yeah, and Machete.
Danny
yeah,
Trejo.
Yeah.
Danny
After I think
Trejo.
he did Spy Kids was his role after this. Well,
Hey, Junie married Megan Trainor, so good on that kid.
yeah, good for him, man. I mean, it's fun. But
He's so awesome.
Jake Gyllenhaal, man, definitely was really. When we were talking and we were trying to figure out, what are we gonna do next? I was like, I'm not sure. And then randomly on Instagram, someone posted like, "This is one of the most racist scenes I've ever seen," and it was Jake Gyllenhaal talking to the Chinese guy later on. And I was like, "Why is this racist? What are we talking? We're too sensitive."
Just
now.
screaming
It's
$500.
ridiculous. It's just like $500. Anyway, we'll get to that part. It's brilliant. So Jake Gyllenhaal plays Bubble Boy, and there were a lot of this where I was like, did we need things to be exactly the way they are? Because it was enough that Jake Gyllenhaal, so this character starts out that he was born and he's reminiscing about his childhood, and he was born without an immunity, right?
Without any immunities.
Yes,
Born with no immunities.
No immunities. He's got immunities. Anyways, we'll get to that. But he's born also to a hyper religious family.
Yeah.
Just
And
mother.
Well, the dad's in there too, and there's one scene I had to stop and I kept watching because I was like, "Wait, is he doing what I think he's doing?"
He didn't remember much about his childhood, only that there was a woman in white and a big bird because the nurse had like a giant.
Yes, it was like the flying nun.
Yeah, she had
That's what
the
it was.
nun's hat on.
Yeah, she had the big nun's hat, but it was kind of Tim Burton-y, the way like it's all this white, like the way Tim Burton would do in
There was no Danny.
I was gonna say
There was no Danny Elfman
I was
intro.
gonna say, I'm
So
surprised they didn't have like
and it was the wrong font. So.
Yeah.
definitely not Tim Burton.
That poor tambourine shaker. He's been out of work for a while since Danny.
His arm fell off.
He looks, he looks like Quagmire in that episode where Quagmire learns about the internet and he comes out with like the giant gorilla arm.
Giant arm.
I'm gonna go back inside.
I need to go do stuff. It's like Quagmire. Anyways, so he's born and he has no immunity, so they keep him in the hospital for 4 years.
4 years.
Yeah.
And it's great because then they pull him out of the car. He's on a gurney that's also in a bubble. And the first line of him was like, oh, I remember when I got out of the car and I was like, oh, the world is huge. I'm free now. And then he spends the next 18 years in his house, like in his room.
In a bubbled off section of his room.
Yes, in a bubbled off section of the room. And his mom... And he's like, oh, I had these great memories. I did this, and it's all within his house, and it's all within the context. But his mom like is reading these bedtime stories to him,
changing the ending of bedtime stories. And Pinocchio left his room and died.
Yes, he left his room and died. He's like, oh, and then he or what was it? And
he got sick and died.
Cinderella or mingled with those dirty whores or something like that. She's like all about it.
She uses them as life lessons.
Yes,
even when he's like older, and he starts becoming friends with the girl next door, and she starts coming like as soon as she moves in, and he sees this beautiful young girl next door.
Oh yeah,
and he has his sexual awakening,
dude,
but doesn't understand what it is.
Yes,
but. She reads the story and changes the end to and the devil slut moved in next door and ruined. Like it's like what the hell?
I know.
Like this poor girl just moved in,
but she's like the
Chloe.
only. What?
Chloe, yeah,
Chloe, yeah. And the only food he eats is this like high fiber, high protein, gluten free cookies or something like that.
And they're
in
shaped
the shape
as
of
like crosses or Bibles.
The
or
Jesus
stamp.
Yes, and he's like stamping it and like but the dad is great. The dad has like one line in the whole
yeah, and originally he was supposed to have none.
No lines. I kind of
he talks to him right at the end. He has like a full sentence.
One full sentence. That's all he gets.
He says a couple of things.
Okay.
Because he's in the car with him, and he says some stuff in the car, and then when they're in the church at the end, he talks to the mom.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, and we'll get to the
I think
twist.
I think they went the right way. I think it was better than him doing like the teller thing.
Yeah,
and never speaking.
Yeah, that's true. And then just having one poignant moment of like,
well, it's just like he's so beaten down and broken by this overbearing woman, where he's just like, I don't even care.
Yeah,
like I don't even care enough to speak to you. And you get the idea that like he does talk to his son. Yeah, but you never see it ever. Yeah. And I love how. When the kid is growing up, and it's originally just like a bubble around his bed, and then it's like the bubble's a little bigger, and then a little bit, like a little bit bigger, and then it cuts, and there's like a giant crash, and the mom runs upstairs to see what happens, and the dad has gotten a bike inside the bubble for him
through the decontamination chamber,
because they have like the short decontamination chamber they can put crap in, and it like, and then gives it to him.
But in the whole time he's talking about his childhood, he's like, I loved it. It was great. And like, there's little scenes that they poke in there where like, he's watching Land of the Lost on his television, and he's sitting with his mom, and he's like, I really wish TV had more than one channel. And his mother's like, I
me
do
too, Jimmy.
Yeah, me too. What was the other thing where he's like, I really wish there was more than one
magazine.
Magazine.
He has that like Time Life.
Yes.
Where like you used to read at the dentist office or the doctor's office, and like here's 2 pictures. Find the 10 things that are different in the 2 pictures.
My dad got me a rock and roll guitar. And she's like, damn it.
and he's like jamming out, like really playing the shit out of this guitar, and he's playing the Land of the Lost theme song.
It's like the only song he knows, probably.
And he's like killing that song, like crushing it.
Did you ever watch Land of the Lost? I've found it on Netflix way back in the day when Netflix was like, okay, we're doing mostly streaming now. They had like the whole series on.
Limp Bizkit inspired me.
It was so fun. Limp Bizkit inspired you to watch Land of the Lost?
Yeah, because you could be the boss stranded in the land of the lost.
Okay, all right.
Hanging on him sideways.
Man, everyone's like, since Limp Bizkit did that thing and he showed up as like the country music artist. Did you see that? He went to a festival and he's dressed in full country gear and he walks up to the stage and nobody's reacting because they're like, that's not...
It's Fred Durst.
That's not Fred, yeah. And so he walked up and he got on the mic and he goes, ladies and gentlemen, this is Limp Bizkit. Come in the cowboy, and it just started playing. And they were like, "Oh, it's Fred!" And
and then he took the cowboy hat off and he put on a red Yankees cap backwards.
Yeah,
iconic.
And everybody was like, "Oh, it's Fred Durst!
Yeah.
There,
Holy shit!
there
He is. Oh my god, I've seen that guy on the Wheaties." No, anyways, yeah. So his whole perspective is that he has this great life and everything's fine.
Yeah.
And then the hot girl moves in next door.
Well, it's funny because the like when he's in elementary school, the kids are making fun of him like bubble boy, and they're wrapped in. It was like the kid from Little Giants wrapped in bubble wrap.
Yeah.
And the mom comes outside with
spraying him with the hose. Well, and he's like, "Oh, look, they want to be my friends."
Yeah, like because I'm sure that's what she tells him. Like, "Oh, they just want to be your friends."
Well, he just is so optimistic.
Yes,
he's very pure.
Happy.
That's his mom's thing.
Very pure.
You gotta stay pure, Jimmy.
Yeah.
The world, you don't want all the germs from the world outside will just ruin you.
He's like, "Promise me you'll stay pure," like gripping his face. He's like, "Okay, mom."
Oh yeah, they have like the rubber arms.
She's got the like haircut thing from back in the 80s, so that's why his hair looks like ridiculous.
I was so curious about this haircut style and why it's the straight out though. Like it's the bowl on the head, I get that, and the vacuum hair.
That's what it is. It's the vacuum.
But like it just brings it straight out.
And if
like
you see when she's cutting, she's on the sides and it's pulling the hair out like this while it's cutting it.
Dude,
and then so he doesn't style it or anything, so it just stays like all out like that.
Bro, but the way that it cut, like the way he points it out, it's like this is kind of punk. Like it's a little punk rock for like the 2000s area, but it was also like this is the dumbest looking thing, which is so funny because Jake Gyllenhaal plays in Donnie Darko this super like dramatic psychosis kind of film of like
he's a good actor, man.
We're going interdimensional and like, dude, the fan theories alone behind Donnie Darko, and then to switch gears and later this year put out Bubble Boy.
Well, and how fun!
Yes, yeah.
Just like this movie is retarded.
It's so fun.
Well, when you suggest, there's so many times where you suggest movies, and I just give you the benefit of the doubt because I'm like, we grew up in different eras.
That's true,
and that's the biggest thing doing this show, especially.
Yeah.
And I've learned with like a lot of nostalgia stuff is like. People, we've talked about this on other episodes. People's views of movies can be so different because of the age that you watch this movie.
Yeah.
So movies that were like, "Oh man, this movie was so funny for you guys." For me, is like
I can think
I'm
of
5 years older, and this movie sucks wieners.
I can think of one that we had very different perspectives on.
Go ahead.
Air Bud.
Yes. Nailed it, buddy.
We were like, Air Bud's pretty good. He was
good.
like, and Tyler was like, fuck this movie.
Dead dad. You got dead dad? There's dead dads everywhere.
Dead dads everywhere.
Unlike this one, both dads around. They're all over.
Apparently, Danny Trejo really liked this movie because he didn't have to kill anybody and he didn't get killed.
And he didn't get killed.
He didn't get killed.
It was really what's funny is that it turns out like everybody just wants to be his friend, actually wants to be his friend. Like wants to.
They should have put Sean Bean in this movie and let him live.
Sean
No,
Bean.
you can't do that.
Oh yeah.
One does not.
One does not.
You cannot have him in anything where he doesn't. Yeah.
Yeah, what are you doing to me here?
Yeah.
I'm sitting here waiting the whole time for Sean Bean to die and he lives.
I'm the guy. It's like Kenny in South Park.
Yeah.
Like, when are they gonna
yeah, like when they stopped killing Kenny in South Park, it was like, whoa, what happened?
Whoa.
What happened
Yeah.
here?
This was like an episode thing. Like,
well, he used to live in the Christmas episode. They used to let him live.
Yeah. Well, I watched like a special and they just got tired of trying to figure out new ways to kill him. Yeah, they're
what was
just
so
like this
horrible
stupid.
is like he would always Kenny would die and he would catch fire and rats would come and eat his corpse
forever.
That was consistent.
And then there was one that they got creative and they killed him like in the credits, like in the still images. He dies in the credits.
Oh my gosh, dude. We do a history of South Park and killing Kenny. Okay, so he grows up, he has this great childhood, he knows how to ride a bike.
Chloe moves in next door.
Chloe moves in and he's like, that summer I washed my window a lot.
Yeah, 'cause she's washing her car.
She's washing her car and rolls across the hood like she's trying to be bold.
It's like
Bo Duke,
Bo Duke,
baby.
yeah.
She's hood sliding.
But she rolls like barrel rolls across. There's no skill to it. She's just like blah, 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 blah.
What are you talking about? That's how you clean the hood.
I guess so.
man.
That's how you get all the spots off
She
of it.
was,
I don't know
she was
how you
covered
clean
in
your
those
car.
little like magic eraser things.
It's true.
Just
They didn't
covered in
exist
them.
back then.
No, that's
Covered in them. Yeah. No. So she
Well,
moves
and
in
then
next
he
door.
wakes up. Sorry to
This
cut you
is
off.
it. No, but this is it. Go ahead.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
he wakes up in the morning and he has morning wood. He has an erection selection, if you will, and he freaks out has no idea what the hell is wrong with him. Dude, he grabs like a foam bat.
Yes.
And hits himself as hard as he possibly can in his Wang Dang Noodle. And screams, and his mother comes running in, and he's like, "Mom, what's wrong with me? What's wrong?"
Just recite the Pledge of Allegiance over and over again.
I tell your father.
That's
just
what I tell your father.
She's like, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. And he does it, and he looks down and goes, still not. I pledge allegiance to the flag. And they're like, both like, oh my God.
Yeah. And he gets through the pledge twice, and then he goes, "Oh, okay. Thanks, Mom."
Oh, God.
You really saved me there.
Awkward and weird and gross.
Okay. Yeah, dude. Just
not okay.
It's not okay. Not okay. Anyways, we have to do a side quest one.
and then Chloe like wants to become his friend.
Yeah, because she pulls up in front of the house with her friends.
Who are douchebags.
Yeah, the two guys are like,
I heard he only drinks his own urine, and she's like, how would he make the urine to drink?
What did he drink originally to make the urine?
And he's like, shut up.
He said he just like changes the subject to some other random crap.
Like,
shotgun.
He's a freak.
Yeah, that's what he does.
Shotgun. Yeah. Bunch of morons, dude.
And then she decides she's going to go be his friend because everybody makes fun of him, even though they don't even know him.
And the mom is gone, and she just walks in, and she knocks on the door, and the dad was watching something on TV.
He's laughing.
No, he's laughing. Holding the Bible.
Oh.
He's reading the Bible and he's cracking up like it's a freaking like comic book or something like that. And he's cracking up at it. He's like, and he doesn't say a word to her.
He didn't even look at her.
Yeah, he's like,
hi, he just like waves her. He just like waves her inside.
He just comes in. He's like, in a way, it's like dad is like.
Go talk to my kid.
He knows.
Yeah.
He knows. And when you get to the end, you realize, oh, yeah, of course he's doing that because he knows.
He knew.
And so Chloe comes up and immediately they become friends because they
They're
bond
besties.
over Land of the Lost.
Yeah.
And then you get a great relationship sequence of like them.
He teaches her how to play guitar.
And playing
Land of the
guitar,
Lost.
Land of the Lost. And they do the Halloween bit, which I thought was so great. He's a fish in a fish bowl, and they invite the children up.
He presses himself up against the glass, and all the kids run away.
So,
well, then you get to the point where she brings beer in.
She gets drunk on like her 18th birthday or something.
Yeah,
like you do,
and tries to crawl through.
She crawls into the decontamination thing, and he's freaking out because he
thinks he's gonna die.
He doesn't. He doesn't. Well, and not only that, but I'm sure he's like shy and like freaked out. Like, this is too much for me.
Yeah.
And she ends up passing out, laying in the decontamination chamber.
Yeah.
And then she leaves.
Yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't really.
Next
just kind of cuts.
She's just gone.
It just kind of cuts.
It cuts to her in his room taking pictures before prom.
Yeah.
That's right. And they get his jerk of a boyfriend.
Mark.
Oh,
hi, Mark.
Oh, hi, Mark.
I did not hit her. I did not.
You're tearing me apart. Hi, Mark.
Mark, who plays like it was a weird mix of like 80s, like, but he had a mullet, like an 80s mullet.
He had like a Def Leppard haircut.
Yes, but then he had like a douche, like that pencil thin, like side cheek thing. I don't even know what to call it. It's not a sideburn.
Mutton chops.
Yeah, I guess pencil thin mutton chop. And
I think there's so many hair and fashion choices that come out of different eras where it's just, what are you thinking? Like the kids today that have the where they put the hat and the hair comes out like a fin all the way around. Yeah. And then broccoli. There's like the ones that are so drastic where there's the dude that has like the bananas taped to his head and it looks like the same.
Oh, doing the faces though?
It's my favorite when people make fun of him on the internet. And they just like there's one where like he's rapping and there's a guy in his kitchen with bananas taped to his head. He's like,
yeah, dude.
Exactly. And it's like I think every fashion generation has those
something
where it's
really
like
stupid.
You just took it to the extreme.
The 2000s kids had like frosted tips.
Yeah, and like it's always like the extreme ones.
Because like NSYNC did it.
Yeah.
Justin Timberlake had ramen noodle hair.
90s, it was the JTT, the middle part, long hair kind of look.
Still rocking it to this day. Got the hat on though.
It's back though, so it's the mullet.
And that's one of those things.
Oh, but
that's
dude,
like,
you get gross mullets.
Yeah, like the rat tail mullet.
you get like the extreme mullets, where it's just like, dude, you just look ridiculous.
You look like a character.
Like Theo Vaughn.
You look
that's like the perfect This business in the front, party in the back.
All right, that's enough.
You're good to go. These people that are like so extreme with it, where they have like this tight cropped like hair up here, and then this, and it starts like the top of their head, and it's just super flowy and long, and it's the extremes of anything. Where you're like, you're gonna look back in 20 years and be like, oh, what was I thinking?
You look like a douchebag.
Yeah.
It's like I wore Hawaiian shirts every day for a year at school, and then when I got
Hawaiian shirt guy.
I got towards the end of the year, and I'm like, why? But I got to keep it going.
It's too many.
Done this the whole year. If I don't wear a Hawaiian shirt,
there's a podcast.
Yeah, Tyler woke up from a 4-month bender and was like, "Oh my god, have I been wearing Hawaiian shirts?
Dude, how many white Russians have I had?
Oh my god, have I been wearing Hawaiian shirts?
If I have another Mai Tai, somebody please take me out behind the woodshed.
If I have another Mai Tai, I'll die. If I don't have another Mai Tai, I'll die.
Yeah.
Might as well give you that Mai Tai.
Yeah, you know what? We're going out the fun way.
I'll tell you one thing I thought was super cool. I had the zip off pants.
The basketball,
pants?
the basketball,
no,
they were like the Crocs of pants because you could put them in sport mode.
I'm talking about the khaki shorts.
Yeah, these were like cargo
pants.
shorts.
Oh, I was thinking like the rip off basketball.
No. Those are all right.
Those would have been an improvement. On what I was doing.
These are like, hey, you want to be like a super nerdy outdoorsman?
It's me.
You want to be Ranger Joe?
I'm gonna sign up.
He's the coolest
first one
guy
on the list.
I know.
Like, hey, you went out in the morning. It's kind of chilly. And now it's getting warm. Just unzip your pant legs. What do you mean? Right at the knee.
Unzip those right at the knee.
Whoa.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
You didn't see it?
Did you say unzip your pant? No, your pant legs.
No, unzip your pants.
Like right above the knee. You just take the zipper and unzip.
That could be a movie bit where you're like, just unzip your pants.
Unzip your pants, bro. Just unzip them.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh.
Like if you pull your penis out, this is over.
But then like you take off.
It's R if you do that. Just letting you know.
Yeah, you take the pants off from here down.
From here down.
You got shorts on now.
And then you take those leftovers and you put them where? In your cargo
You let Bubble Boy use them.
In your cargo shorts.
You let Bubble Boy use them to make his bubble mobile.
Yes, that's exactly it. There's a podcast actually that was about this. They did this episode where they said everything we thought that made us gay in middle school, and they were like,
we were right.
They were like wearing shorts that we thought made us gay, and I was like, I was on that list of like, I didn't think, oh yeah, shorts.
No,
I can't wear shorts to school.
Wearing a hoodie in the winter when it's cold outside.
Oh yeah,
made you gay. So you're standing there at PE like.
Meanwhile, the actual gay kids in 2000s were having the time of their lives, wearing whatever the hell they wanted.
I was just listening to a podcast not too long ago. It was like an older one that I went back and was listening to.
Yeah,
and it was this guy who was from Wisconsin,
Jesus,
I believe, and he was talking about how he'd be standing at the bus stop in shorts.
Yeah,
it's like 3 degrees outside.
Yeah, sure.
There's always that one kid.
And he's like, yeah, I'm out here suffering from frostbite, but God, am I cool?
Oh, don't even tell me about the one time I almost bought Jinko jeans. Do you know what Jinko jeans are? They were like, because I was
the Limp Bizkit shorts.
That was my era.
I was punk rock.
I had Jinkos.
You did?
I think I still have Jinko shorts.
Please wear those next time. Can we?
There's no way those. No offense, but there's no way those still fit. Like 34s.
My waist.
No.
It's my stomach that got big. My waist is the same.
But those shorts have to be like 34s.
That's what I'm saying. My waist is the same.
They're not shorts. They're pants.
You could have Jinko shorts.
You could. You're right. You're absolutely right.
They're bell bottom.
They're bell bottoms. They're the ones that you could hide entire Subway footlongs in.
They're bell tower bottoms.
They're Big Ben. They're the Big Ben of.
They're the
shorts.
Eiffel of pants.
Sorry to rock the cameras.
No, you're fine. You're good. Anyway, so
she
early
tells
2000s.
You could literally hide a small midget in your pant
Another
leg.
child.
You could hide Dr. Freak Show.
You could hide
Dr. Freak Show. Okay. So
that's Mini-Me, right?
Yeah. Vern Troyer.
So Chloe's like, I love you, but he doesn't reciprocate because then he's like, she goes, I'm going to go to Niagara Falls.
And marry Mark.
Which I was like, what is the reason behind Niagara Falls?
Well, his family's from there because like his sister's over there and stuff.
I guess, but
it's
I was
a beautiful
like,
place.
I mean, where they're coming from.
And they live in Palmdale, California.
Is it Palmdale? Okay.
The coast of...
Man, you're going to go all the way across
Canada
country.
has beautiful side.
The coast of
Destination.
Canada.
Niagara Falls is in Canada.
It's got tall trees.
Tall trees. Big
tall
trees.
So Bubble Boy decides, you know what, I'm going to chase after her. And so he
makes
designs,
the like Bubble Mobile.
Yeah. Which I was like, dude, like, you know, what's that phrase where they're like, you don't think about doing something until it's absolutely a necessity, like to try to figure out
necessity
how do
is
I
the
get
mother
out
of
here?
invention.
Thank you. Because he figures out in a night or two, like how to mobilize.
Well, think
himself.
about it. All he does is like read.
Yeah, I
So
mean,
he's
nothing
like,
else to do.
I
yeah.
get it.
And he only reads Time Life.
That's true.
Well, but I'm sure his mom taught him school, so he knows math and science.
I mean, his mom taught him.
Yeah, it's
Taught
true.
him everything, frankly.
Wild
Pledge
fact.
allegiance to the flag of the United States. Oh, I love that. He almost touches it, and she yells at him, "Don't touch it!" Stops. Oh God. Anyways, so he invents the bubble mobile, and we get this great scene of him sneaking out in the early morning, and he gets to a bus stop.
How about when he just walks out the front door?
Yeah,
Yes.
and his dad definitely hears him and is like,
Yeah, dude, he's like, thank
Awesome.
God.
Yeah. Hoping that would happen
Yeah,
someday.
I've been waiting
Go
for
on.
this moment.
so he gets
Yes.
to the bus stop.
Well,
and
he
it's
goes out and he's like,
Zach.
grass.
Yes.
And then
Grass.
he starts to walk and slams into the
Light pole.
the
Telephone
light
pole.
pole,
Yeah.
telephone pole. And he's like, street lamp.
Yeah, but that's it.
so excited, but like face first right into this. It
Well,
was
I'm sure
very funny.
it absorbs some of the blow.
Yeah, but it's just
Some.
funny because he doesn't even like react, and he's so
He
like
steps
excited.
in dog poop.
Yes.
And he's like, dog poop.
Yes.
Yes. He's
This
like,
is
I'm
incredible.
He's like, I'm running, and it cuts behind him, and he's like,
I heard I read that they purposefully designed that suit
to be difficult to run in.
that
so
he would
look
fall.
like shit. Yeah.
Yes, that he would eat shit all the time, just falling.
You know what I haven't
across.
been in, and I think they were very much inspired by this movie. Is like those big,
Oh yeah, like the bubble things
yeah,
that you
like
can get
yes.
inside
bouncy
us.
ball that you can get inside.
I've
of.
always wanted to play in those things.
I wanted to get those for my kids one.
They
year.
had those at Warrior Week once when I was
It's a good-
teaching.
Oh,
I could
nice.
kill
And the
some people
kids
with
got
those
in them,
things.
and I was like, "You shouldn't let football players get in them."
No.
Because the ones that they had, you ran with your legs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to get in the one where it's
It's like a gerbil ball.
Yeah. Where
Oh,
you get,
yeah.
Oh, bubble gerbil or gerbil.
Oh yeah, we forgot.
Oh, gerbil. Yeah.
She gave him a Christmas gift.
Jerby?
Yes.
No, it's like bubble gerbil or something. She calls him something.
Yeah. What is it?
Bubble pig or
bubble pig?
bubble guinea?
wrap or buckle?
Guinea
yeah.
bubble?
Guinea bubble. Guinea bubble?
Oh, it's like I feel like it's right there, and we're just missing it.
Yeah, but it's a guinea pig in one of those plastic bubble things. But I was like, you have to take that out every now and then. That's not a germ-free thing. Like,
Yeah, well, that's the trick. Like, it's not germ free, but
That's
he's got
absolutely-
no immunities.
Yeah. No, he's
Something's
something's not right.
Yeah,
Something on
okay.
the horizon. So he gets out and he's running down the street and he's like, I'm running for the first time. And he's just super excited. And he gets to this bus
Bubble
stop.
guinea pig.
Bubble guinea pig? That's it?
That's what they call
Yeah,
it.
where he's like, take bubble guinea pig because I don't want him.
I guess it's the way he says it
Yeah.
makes it sound like it's different. Okay.
Okay. So he gets to the bus stop and we get this amazing scene with a
Zach-
very young
Galifianakis.
Zach Galifianakis. I think like just after he did his Comedy Central, his first Comedy Central appearance, which I remember seeing him. And he does this great thing where he's in a sweater and he's like, why do you look like he's like, I look like every gay drama teacher. You remember? But Zach Galifianakis is sitting
What was
in
his name?
Galifianakis? Galifianakis?
Galifianakis.
Is it Galifianakis?
Zach Gabba give the gap.
Scabba-who.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm the
You still have that on there?
no, it's on my phone.
Yeah, it was on your phone.
Anyways, so he's sitting at this empty bus stop, middle of the desert. There's one bus pulled
It's
off
just
to the
one
side,
room.
and he's like, "I need a bus." I need a bus ticket to Niagara Falls. The woman I love is getting married, and like the Bubble Boy's running around his little booth, and he
that's
doesn't
great.
move. He's just sitting. He's
That's
just
great. That'd be $200.
$260.
Yes, and he's like, I
How
got,
much?
And then he looks at
How
him.
far will this get me? And he's like, back up
Yeah,
that far.
that far. Yeah,
Well, and he's like, and you're gonna need to buy 2 tickets for that
Yeah.
thing you're wearing.
whatever stupid thing you're
Yeah,
wearing.
whatever stupid crap you got on there.
Every time he talks to him, though, he's snapping on and off the microphone.
mic,
yeah, so he's like, that'll be $269. Also, you're going to have to buy an extra seat for that stupid thing you're wearing. Turns it off. So Bubble Boy doesn't get anywhere with that. And he's like, oh, okay, so I have to, pretty much walk. And so he starts getting out on the road and he gets hit by a bus. And they play up so often him just getting hit by things and flying into the atmosphere and not getting hurt, like hopping up, like I'm okay,
Yeah, like
I'm all
getting
right. Yes.
full on hit by cars.
Yes.
Getting thrown by buses and trucks.
The design of his mobile suit is so funny because it's not necessarily him doing all the action work. They have these big rubber gloves in the front. And so every time he turns around, the rubber gloves like flap around.
Yeah, it's like Ace Ventura in the second movie when he gets hit with the dart.
Yeah.
He can't move his arm.
Yeah.
Starting to get
Three guards is too much.
Oh yeah, so he gets picked up by these people in a school bus called Bright and Shiny on the side, and he wakes up and they're like,
I gotta pause you real quick.
Oh, okay, yeah, sorry.
This movie is so ridiculous.
This movie's banana sandwich.
Do you remember it at all? Like
I never saw it.
Oh, you never saw it? Okay,
no, I never saw it. So
I'd never seen it.
That's why I was like, what the fuck? What are we watching?
Yeah, he texted me and he's like, "What the fuck is this movie?"
Yeah.
I want to be in those texts.
Well, it's just like I don't know, because I don't want to be offensive. Because you know what I mean.
Totally,
it's just like
you're not. But
and I don't want you to hesitate to pick movies that you want to pick. Just. There you go. That's the movie.
Well, no,
and
basically he's asking me like, "Have you ever seen this fucking movie?"
Yeah, and then,
I'm like, "I know Jake Gyllenhaal's in it. That's it."
Well, I'm like, all right, well, let's go find it. So we find it, and I think I rented it on Prime.
Yeah,
I rented it on YouTube.
Yeah, and I'm just like, all right, here we go, and I'm just like, well, okay. I mean, it's pretty funny.
I want to be in these texts.
Like, it's pretty. We don't text like after that. Pretty much. It's pretty much just like, what the fuck?
No, but I'm totally into it because I love hearing that. I love seeing it because that's part of my nostalgia too. Of like, oh, you liked that movie?
Yeah, you liked Air Bud?
Yes. Like people looking at me like, what is wrong with you? And
you didn't like Air Bud?
I'm telling you, we said it during the Air Bud show. When I was young, I liked Air Bud. It's just watching it now. And the first time I watched it through, it was like, okay, this movie's not very good anymore, but like, I get it. It's old, whatever.
Right. By watch number 4.
But when I had to watch it like 5 times, I'm like, this movie is fucking terrible. Like, it is so bad. Like, gosh. But anyway,
I watched Shrek like 8 times for our last episode.
Dude, Shrek is so funny.
Hashtag watch Air Bud.
Go watch it. Go watch it. Do your thing. Keeping it real while keeping it safe.
Do you
not keeping it real safe?
Yeah, it's been real and it's been fun, but it ain't been real fun.
Bubble Boy was keeping it real safe. Like he had his own little decontamination chamber on the side of his suit.
He had like a decontamination zipper area.
It was like a clear backpack he had like repurposed, and I was like, I remember a kid having that in school.
There was a girl I went to the FSU Miami game not long ago, and they had it right there. Like she had like a purse that's see-through.
If you wanted,
you're like, hey, that's from Bubble Boy.
Yeah, like
what?
Hey, Jake Gyllenhaal.
Why are you talking to me?
She was like, what?
Get out of the women's bathroom. What are you doing?
I was like, I'm just a fly on the wall.
Oh my gosh! Hold on. I don't know why it made me think of it. Maybe it's just because of like how dirty.
I am not that dirty.
No, how dirty like stadium bathrooms can be.
Oh, they're so gross.
Like you pee into like a trough. You don't pee into like a urinal.
But
I remember
although Hard Rock's not bad.
Well, that's true. One time we had gone to a game at like the old Orange Bowl, and like we were
bad.
We were washing our hands, and like we walked out, and we were like,
I thought you were gonna say you were watching people pee.
Oh no. I'm like terrified to pee in public. Like I don't like doing it.
It's stage fright.
Yeah. So if I could get a stall, I'm gonna get a stall.
Yeah. Oh, okay. All right. I'm not that bad. I'll pee.
Like George Costanza. I've always been a stall man.
So we like walked out, and I was like, no paper towels, and he was like, yeah. I don't know if it was you or whoever we were with, but anyway, you were like, yeah, I don't know why we had to wash our hands. I feel like my dick was clear to that bathroom.
Dude, there's like 90% of public bathrooms. I'm like, my penis is definitely cleaner than that bathroom.
Yeah, I'm not.
I know where this has been.
Yeah,
I don't want to touch anything.
Like, I took a shower this morning. It's been in my pants all day. Why is it dirty? Why is it dirty?
It's been in its own little bubble.
Yeah,
I don't pee on myself.
My boxer briefs.
Yeah, yeah. We're talking Bubble Boy right here,
right there.
Right
That's
here.
your Bubble Boy.
Yeah.
We ain't talking bubbles.
My Jake Gyllenhaal, my Bubble Boy.
Yeah,
my
I'm proud of my hygiene.
This is my Jimmy.
This right here. My Jimmy.
The other night, I was watching Bubble Boy, I think, and I was playing games on my phone, laying on my couch, and I knocked out and like slept all night. And when I woke up in the morning, I was like, dude, that's the first time I haven't brushed my teeth like right before I got to bed.
Yeah.
In like 3 years.
Yeah.
And now my mouth, it just feels wrong.
It feels wrong.
Yeah, it's just like the hygiene is. Like, and I remember when like my mom used to have to be like, would you just take a damn shower? And I'm like, Fine. And then I remember being older and being like, Trey, if you don't take a fucking shower right now.
Oh yeah, I used to pass out on the floor.
Dude, he would play baseball.
Yeah.
And then he would go play with his friends. And then he would play another baseball game.
And I'd just sleep
and then
on
he'd
the
go
floor.
to baseball practice.
Yeah.
And then he would go work out. And then he'd come in smelling like an asshole's foot.
Dude.
And he'd be like, hey, you guys want to hang out? I'm like, after you take a bath. Like, get out of here. And he's like, I don't want to take a bath. And you don't remember being a kid when it's like, dude, I'm fine. I don't need a bath. And it's like, no, trust me, you do.
Yeah.
You do.
You've reached the age where you've developed odor, my friend.
Like hosing down Tommy Boy. I'm a maniac.
Yeah. Well, it's funny too because then I'd get to high school, my mom would be like, "Why do you shower so much?" And I'm like, "Because this morning I worked out, and then I went to baseball practice."
Now I'm
even just like a quick rinse. I don't need like soap, everything. Just quick rinse. Get the spectacles, testicles, wallet, and watch kind of deal.
Yes,
So getting back on track.
The bus pulls up with the Shine and Bright people.
And it's a cult.
Right.
That's
They
right.
hit 'em.
Cut you
Yeah.
off.
They're a cult.
Yeah.
Well, I love how innocent and he's like so straightforward and honest.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, they're like all singing the songs and he's loving it. He's enjoying it. And they're like, yeah. And he's like, so where are y'all headed? Because he thinks they're taking him to Niagara Falls. And they're like, we're going to the promised land or
The meeting.
We're going to the meeting. Yeah. And he's like, what? And they're like, oh yeah, it's this place where they're all Troy.
Yeah.
All the males,
They're all Todd.
All the males are Todd.
And the girls are all Lorraine.
And the girls are all Lorraine. Yeah. And what a random name.
And they give him like the book, and he's like, put it in the decontamination pod, and he's reading it, and they're like, we remove your parts, and it's a guy and girl with like a page that's clear that has their privates, and it just and he's like, ha.
Like it's a cellophane flip up,
And he's like, what does he do with your parts?
He's like, he keeps them for us. And he's like, where is the problem in his land? And they all kind of look around. And they go, I don't know.
Yeah. And then he's like, you guys are a cult.
Yes, you're not he's like, you're not a singing group.
Yeah,
you're a cult.
You're a cult. And they're like, what?
Throw him off the bus.
They just open the rear exit, like the emergency door at the back of a school bus, and he just flies out in the middle of the desert, lands on the ground, and they just drive away and leave this kid in the middle of the desert.
And the little cameraman is like,
yeah. That's so crazy.
It's the simple scenes too, because he's alone in the desert, like on the flats, like I guess in Death Valley or something like that. And there's
he's almost in Vegas.
Yeah, and a vulture comes
tries
and lands
to eat
on
him.
And he starts running away from it. And Jake Gyllenhaal, I never would have taken for such a comedic actor until I rewatched this. The way he screams like
he's funny,
he keeps
man.
away from it. He's brilliant.
He's a good actor.
So good.
And then he comes to Danny Trejo
on the side of the road
trying to fix his motorcycle.
He's got a flat tire. Or
What's
whatever.
he keeps calling? He keeps calling him Vato.
Vato.
Yeah,
He's like, hey,
Vato.
what are you doing, Vato? And he's like,
Well, the best is when he first meets Chloe, and he's like, "Oh, you're Chloe. You're the whore next door."
yes. And Chloe's like, no,
That's what his mom
I'm
always
more of a
called her.
bitch.
I'm more of a bitch. And he's like, oh, totally.
right, for sure.
And she's like, can I come back tomorrow? You can teach me how to play guitar. And he's like, I don't know, bitch. I got a lot to do. And she's like, I'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah. He just calls her bitch.
Yes, he goes, I don't know, bitch. It's
so funny.
I got a lot of stuff I gotta do. So but they do great. Danny Trejo being a biker
Slim.
dude, being slim biker dude. And he's like, yeah, you can't live with regrets, man. You gotta if you got a woman, you gotta go after her. He's like, I lost my woman. He lifts up his shirt, and it's like Betty, and he's like, no, and it's like it's crossed out, and it's a tattoo.
Like
and
Margaret?
No, and he looks down and he's like, wildfire. He's like, wildfire.
She's pretty.
And he's constantly talking about how he wants to stab everybody.
Yeah. If this guy took it, I was going to cut. It's legal. If somebody takes your woman, you can cut her.
You gotta cut him when you see him.
Yeah, Vato just means like young person.
I love Danny Trejo though, dude. He's
awesome.
So fun and
he's
funny.
so good and like
he's in Spy Kids.
He's
Yes,
so
he is.
type.
He's so good.
He's so
Uncle
typecast,
whatever.
but
Uncle.
Yeah.
Oh no, he's not Uncle Felix. He's like their actual uncle.
he's awesome in
Yeah,
From
he
Dusk
is.
Till
He
Dawn.
is.
Yeah, because the fake Uncle Felix is like, I'm not your uncle.
That's Cheech Marin. This is actually is the fake uncle. No, but what is he says to her? He's like, they do a great line from Blazing Saddles where he's like, Bubble Boy is like, I got to fix his bike tire. He's like, I got patches.
Yeah.
And he goes, patches? I could really use some thinking patches.
And he knows how to fix the tire on his bike. He fixes it, and he's like, "I'll take you to Niagara Falls."
Yeah.
And they go to Vegas.
Of course,
he
has patches.
He's
because
like,
he's got to fix the bubble.
Yeah. He's like, "Whoa, man. Paris, New York," and they're trying to win money so that they can go to Niagara Falls faster. And they're playing slots, and they keep losing.
Table,
And then he sees you can win a scooter, and he plays the slot to win the scooter, and he wins. And he's like, I felt bad saying goodbye or not saying goodbye to Slim, but I only had 12 horsepower to me. And he's on the scooter, just me.
And by this time, his parents have finally noticed that he's gone.
Oh my! They do the ransom.
They're freaking out, and so she calls the police.
Funny,
this is the part I'm talking about. Yes. She tells her husband, make a ransom note out of clippings
from a magazine.
And she's
they
talking
never
to the
follow
police.
up on this, by the way.
They don't.
This just gets thrown out as a joke.
Yeah.
Yes. So he brings it over, and she proofread it, and she goes, "Dear Zena, we have your son. If you want him back, we need $100,000. Signed, the Jews." And
so
she
stupid
starts scolding him.
Yeah, she's so pissed.
Like, you moron.
You moron. Like, what?
They're the Jews. They're going to want more than $100,000. And you're like, good Lord.
It's so funny.
Where is this movie going with this?
So funny.
If they tried to make that today.
No, that's not happening.
No, that's the beauty.
Yeah.
Bring it back.
Yeah.
Well,
Bring it back.
Adam Sandler said the writers for Happy Gilmore 2, they're
not paying
this.
any attention to wokeness. They think wokeness is bullshit. They're getting back to comedy.
Yeah, well, that's because it's Adam Sandler.
That's like
that guy's a
people like Shane Gillis,
money.
people that stepped out.
Me.
Like they said retard. They said the things that you weren't supposed to say. And then what happened? They hit it big on the internet. Then everybody falls in love with him, and SNL brings him on to host after firing him from SNL
for saying.
What does he say in his monologue? Retard. Like, yes, jackasses. It's a joke. It's like Tony Hinchcliffe last night at the Madison Square Garden. The thing for Trump made the joke about Puerto Rico being an island of trash, and now it's like a political football being kicked around. It's like Tony Hinchcliffe is a roast comedian.
That's his job.
Everything he says is offensive.
That's the Kill Tony guy, right?
Yeah. He's hysterically funny. But if you're gonna take offense to it, you can find offense in everything. It's a joke. Let it go.
Leave the room.
Let it go.
I don't get offended at Native American jokes. They make me
true.
laugh.
You really don't.
I really don't.
I don't get offended at fat jokes. Like, come on. I make them about myself.
That's like your people, though, is the fatness.
I'm just like, bring it to me.
Bring it on. I'm here for it.
I'm here for it. I love it.
Felonious.
Yes.
Number three, below.
So I thought that was so funny. Like,
yeah, dude. Like,
Jews are going to want more than $100,000.
They make it $500,000.
So funny.
But no one knows.
But there's no follow up.
No follow up.
Then they just jump in the car.
It was thrown out as like a one liner.
But I was like, what was their plan with the ransom note? They're
I guess
ransom
they were
their
just
own
going to
kid?
try to get the money.
Well,
Yeah.
and not only that, but then now you have the cops because the cops
they wanted to wait 48 hours.
Well, the cops won't let you file a missing persons report for 48 hours.
That's ridiculous.
So they were going to do the ransom note to get the cops
in a lot of places
to look for him because like now it's a kidnapping. It's not a missing
because
person.
back in the day they used to say like, yeah, kids run away all the time.
Yeah,
and like a lot of serial killer victims were just like, yeah, kids run away all the time. And then they wouldn't let you file for 72 hours of missing. So your kid has been gone for 3 days. No. And they're like, yeah, people just like run away. Like, what? No, they don't.
Kids don't leave the Wi-Fi perimeter. If your kid is gone from the Wi-Fi perimeter nowadays, they're missing. You need to call police because something has happened to them.
If your kid's outside,
no, they saw Charizard.
They kept going. Yeah,
Pokemon Go. They were following that Charizard.
A balloon floated away. They'd never seen one before.
These days, 48 hours, that kid can be in China or like all the way. Sorry, not China. I don't want to pick on the Chinese people. But anyways, they could be on the other side of the planet.
Taiwan.
They could be anywhere else. Yeah.
Singapore.
Turkey. Getting
Madagascar.
Getting hair replacements. Turkey hair replacements. West Africa.
Bangkok.
The capital of Djibouti is Djibouti.
You know what the capital of
Thailand is?
Thailand is? Bangkok.
That's why it's called Bangkok, baby. Anyway, so he gets.
You're like a lady boy.
The parents.
Dude, wait. Our buddy was traveling.
Oh yeah.
No.
He went to Thailand.
Friend of the show.
Friend of ours.
Wouldn't mind.
Of ours. Yes.
Okay.
Went over to Thailand and gets in a cab, and the cabs are run by the brothels, and so they give you like a pamphlet. I want to be able
to take off my eyes on this one. What?
Take off your eyes. What? They give you a pamphlet, and they're like, oh, you like, and it's just girls that you could choose from, and. And he's like, no, I'm good. I'm fine, man. I appreciate it's fine. Just trying to be respectful, like not insult them in their culture and everything.
Right.
And the guy like goes, oh, you like a lady, boys?
He takes a hard left turn.
It's so funny.
Oh, we're going the wrong way.
No, I don't.
Like, oh, you like a chicks with dicks?
What's that from Ted 2? There are no chicks with dicks.
Yeah.
There are no. What is? Oh my god, dude!
We gotta be Ted.
Ted,
sure.
Ted is up there definitely.
I saw a funny thing with Wahlberg and Mila Kunis where when he's saying bear,
teddy bear,
with
bear.
his accent,
yes,
and she is just losing her mind. She's like, because in my head I saw Bill. To Teddy Bear. And she's like, I know he didn't say it with that thick of an accent and he didn't have that affectation to his face, but that's just the way my brain heard it. And then every time he said it, I couldn't help it. It just went right back to that.
My teddy bear.
Teddy bear.
All right, so the cult kicks him off the bus and they go.
No, they already went to Vegas. He's on the scooter.
He's on the scooter.
Yeah, but the cult goes to their retreat.
Yes.
And it's led by
Fabio.
And he's like, which his whole thing is like, okay, so we're going to reveal who the chosen one is, his new incarnation, and they pulls it down and it's a guy
in a bubble
on the rock.
And then he goes, and then we're going to have the buffet.
And now
and those who don't believe have to spend eternity on planet 642.
Yeah.
Or 641 if they run out of room.
Yeah. They're out of space.
They run out of space.
And so these people who were on the bus who kicked the bubble boy off are like, holy shit, we kicked off
We
the
gotta
Messiah.
find him. Yeah.
We gotta go find him. So they're like, we have to go. So that's their whole purpose. So they get to Vegas and they're looking for him and they ran into Danny Trejo, who lost sight of him because he got away on the scooter, and then they run over Danny Trejo's motorcycle, destroy it.
Well, because they stopped to ask him if he's seen a boy in a bubble.
And he pulls out the knife.
And he goes, oh, you're the vatos who left him in the desert.
Yes.
And then that's when they backed the bus up over his motorcycle and dude, they bust that motorcycle to pieces.
Yeah, that thing was done. There was no salvaging
but
it at
then
all.
you cut back to Jimmy on his scooter and his parents pull up next to
After
him.
they wrote the ransom note to the Jews. Yes.
From the Jews.
From the Jews. Word.
So he tries to get out of the way and he bounces off the highway into a moving train.
Yes.
Yes.
The buoyancy of the bubble.
And this is where
the elasticity.
You see
great.
Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The Howard Stern Beetlejuice.
Beetlejuice. Yeah.
You know what's really funny? I was trying to find videos. There's not a whole lot about the behind the scenes of this movie.
I'm pretty sure a lot of people want to forget that this happened.
Yeah.
What are you up to? Me? Nothing.
Yeah.
Just hanging around.
Well, so Gyllenhaal was on Stern and he just very briefly asks him about Bubble Boy and he goes, oh yeah, I loved it. It was so much fun.
Yeah.
It was, and people want to talk crap about it. I don't care. It was awesome. It was so much fun. We had a blast on Bubble Boy. And he's like, and you were on there with Beetlejuice. And I had watched the movie 3 times and I knew when Beetlejuice appears, the Howard Stern Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
The short black guy with the weird teeth and everything. Mm-hmm. I'm like, oh yeah, it's Beetlejuice. But when Howard Stern said, yeah, and Beetlejuice is in the movie, I'm like, Michael Keaton was not in that movie. And I literally, I'm like, what is he talking about? Beetlejuice was not in that movie.
That's that guy's name.
And then he's like, yeah, and the tall guy,
the human Sasquatch.
Yeah, he was also a Howard Stern character that
was he?
Briefly or whatever. And
his
I'm
name was Matthew McConaughey or something like that. Yeah.
They were talking about it and I'm like, oh, that Beetlejuice. What an idiot. I can't believe I didn't put that together.
That's one of my favorite memes where it's him just going, me? Nothing. Just hanging around.
Yeah.
Well, then Matthew McGrory.
I was going to say, don't say McConaughey.
No, Matthew McGrory. He got to do Big Fish just a couple years after that as Coral. Which I think it was they were like,
you Rick
I'm
Grimes?
the human Sasquatch. He's like, what's your real name? And I think he says it in this one, Carl. Like you had to think about it a second. So they're on the train of the circus freaks.
They're the freaks,
and they're all freaking
like,
out.
Shut up! Don't.
So like, shut up!
The doctor will hear you.
What's his name? Doctor
Freak.
Dr. Freak.
Yeah, he's Dr. Freak.
And they're like, and then one of them says like something, and he's like, "You're sick," and he's like, "Well, your doctor will know all about it."
Yeah,
he's not a real doctor.
He's not that kind of doctor.
Yeah.
So he stops the train, and they fall out, and he's trying to like convince him to come on the road with them, and he's trying to like cut.
Yeah, because Dr. Freak is Vern Troyer,
Mini-Me, and he's trying to like convince him with like a knife to come with him, and every time he tries to jump on the bubble, he gets hurt, like he falls off, and then he knocks him out by accident because he runs at the bubble and it bounces him back.
Yeah, they like pushes him or something, and he shoves this animated doll of Vern Troyer into the front side of this truck.
I was so hoping it would go wee,
like in Austin Powers.
Yes. Wee. Oh man. So the freaks get loose, and they're like, "Well, where do we go?" So they
keep following him.
They keep following
onward to Niagara Falls.
Yes, they're like, "Well, we're going." And the guy from The Ringer's in this one too.
Yeah,
he's the seal boy.
Did we get ice cream?
Yeah, he's when the fuck did we get ice cream?
So funny.
What a weird career that guy.
And that's when he goes into the bar.
Yes.
Yeah, he finds the town because they give him the little like mine car thing, and he's like, "But if I'm going to get there by Saturday, I need something with a motor."
Yeah.
Yes. So he goes in this little town. It's Podunk, middle of
nowhere.
And
he meets Pappy.
Or is it no?
Poppy.
Not Pappy. He meets Push Pop, the Indian guy.
Yeah.
No. First, isn't it? Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
He goes into the.
I got the order wrong.
Yeah, he's in the bar, and the bar they start fighting, and then they freak out over the Bubble Boy, and they because he's like,
leave him alone.
He says, why are they like, what's wrong with you? And he says, I was born without any immunities. And they're like,
what the hell?
You got immunities? And they like freak out. They throw him out of the bar.
Yeah.
And then in the process of, they
all
lock
leave
him.
the bar.
They lock him
because
in.
they're like, the immunities. He's got immunities.
The sheriff
so
is like, I hereby christen this a quarantine zone.
Yeah. And then they're like, the prize, there's like, Jessup's prized pig died. They're like, it's spreading.
Yeah.
Which I was like, dude, watching this again, I was like, this feels like some parts of COVID.
And then
100%.
Yeah.
Well,
the bar catches fire.
Oil lamp falls when they slam the door, and it breaks and catches the bar on fire. And he's like, they're just gonna let this kid burn alive, and then they're like, "Oh, that's a nice fire. It's a good fire." And the Indian guy, Push Pop, who had been in the bar, went around the back. Yeah, and that's why Jake Gyllenhaal stepped in.
And he has an ice cream and curry truck.
It's so weird, ice cream and curry.
It's great.
But he busts the back door open and gets him out.
And the comedy makes you like, oh, like New Delhi in summer. Come on.
That's right. And then they roll out, and he's talking to him about how cows are sacred.
Well, no, he's like, this whole town's going to explode. Yeah. And that's when they're doing the like, oh, big fire. Yeah, like, why does the wires fall over onto because it hits the gas in the kitchen, and the gas blows up.
Yeah.
Then the big telephone wire falls into the gas station, and that explodes.
Whole thing.
And the only people that survive are the children because they're chasing the ice cream truck, and the little kids are like, ice cream. And it cuts the little Indian kid, and he's like, Curdy.
One Indian kid, Curdy. So funny. But those beans, did you notice those beans from Even Stevens? Have you ever seen that guy recently? Oh, that's a weird face to put on.
Charlie Booth.
Look him up.
Booth.
Charlie Booth could do comedy again. I hope he does actually. But yeah, so now he's riding with Push Pop.
To hold it together.
Now he's riding with Push Pop, and he has a bad dream. He has a dream about like him not being able to save her in Land of the Lost.
Yeah,
like they're all stuck in Land of the Lost.
Well, it's funny how they start. The dream starts, and it's her and the boyfriend or the fiance Mark watching Land of the Lost, and he's like, "Why are we watching this? Like, you can't tell me this is better than Jurassic Park." And
she's like, "That's the point, dude." Yeah.
It's like, it's awesome, like whatever. And then the next thing you know, they're inside Land of the Lost, and she's about to get eaten, and he's trying to get the Bubble Boy's trying to get to her to save her, and the boyfriend ends up riding up on a different dinosaur and getting her out of there by throwing her on the back of the dinosaur. Yeah. It's just like, what is going on?
No, he had a great line at the beginning when like they're going to prom, and he's like teasing him about like, you can't come out of this bubble. He's like, and he says something like, do you even have sperm? Like, what are you supposed to do? Yeah. And like, then Jake Gyllenhaal just this great like narration where he's like, I'm not sure what Mark meant about the whole sperm thing.
Yeah, it's weird. But it's weird like how his voice evolves throughout the movie. Yeah. Like, when he's first an adult in his room, he take Bubble Guinea. I don't want him anymore.
Yeah.
And then like as he's meeting people, he talks more normal.
Yeah, he kind of gets rid of that little bit of caution, you know. Oh, that's great. That's real fun. And he starts talking so him and Push Pop are in his ice cream truck, but it has Vishnu on the top, and he's talking about
Shiva.
Sorry,
dude,
Shiva.
I love the actor.
Yes,
he's Raj's dad on The Big Bang Theory.
Yeah, and he's also from Seinfeld too. What's his name?
His name is oh my god,
it's a very American name.
Yeah, Brian George.
Yeah, Brian George. Yeah,
he's a really funny guy. Like he always gets typecast as like the Indian guy.
Yeah.
But he's super funny, and he always plays his roles well.
I did see him in something.
Same thing with the dad in this movie.
Yes, yeah, he does.
It's like John Carroll Lynch.
Yeah, I really appreciate like the kind of side characters that like they do like a lot of minor roles. But like movies and shows could never be made without these minor roles.
Without those, yes.
They're like the players that fill out the world.
There was something he did one episode of something Brian George did as the Indian guy. And they're like, yeah, I'm looking for Pakna or something like, and they're looking around and he goes, it must be you, right? And the guy turns and goes, he's like, my name's Kevin.
It reminds me of the you know who I think the actor's name is Walter Goggins.
Yeah,
he was in Justified and stuff like that. He's awesome. I love that guy.
David Goggins.
The
psycho.
Goggins?
No, that's the psycho
guy. The black dude, right? That like runs like 1,000,000 miles and everything. But
it just felt like running.
But he was in an episode of Big Bang, and Raj, the Indian dude, is sleeping with his wife. Yeah. Well, they've separated.
Okay,
and she like meets him and doesn't tell him she's married, and they have sex.
Watch Big Bang now.
Oh, it's funny as hell. It's super funny.
All right.
But so he's doing shows at the planetarium, and all of a sudden, like this guy is there, and it's Walter Goggins, this actor. But he's like, it's Howard Wolowitz, a tiny little Jewish man.
Yes.
And Raj Koothrappali, an Indian guy. Mm-hmm. And the Walter Goggins is like, which one of you is Rajesh Koothrappali?
Yeah. Walton Goggins.
Walton Goggins. Yeah, I love that.
He plays downtown.
Yeah. Awesome.
He plays downtown Billy whatever in Major League 3.
Okay, yeah.
Which one of you is?
Yeah, and Howard goes, you don't know which one of us is Rajesh Koothrappali? And he goes, I do, but I was trying not to be racist. It's so funny, man. It's such a great line. Like, I do. But yeah.
I like Star Wars too.
I like Star Wars too, Rip.
So they're driving down the road.
And he has the bad dream and he swerves the car.
And they wake up together.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Are they both sleeping?
Yeah,
he's awake.
The driver, I thought he was falling asleep.
No, that's Pappy.
Pappy.
Not Push Pop. Yeah,
Pappy falls asleep. Yeah, right. Push Pop is driving and
Bubble Boy like runs into him when he wakes up because he's got the big bubble.
Yeah,
and then he swerves the truck and he hits a cow
and kills it.
And he's like, "Is that a bison?"
Yes.
Or a water buffalo, which I thought was hilarious because you have that story about the girl like water buffalo.
You can tell it. I don't remember it.
Oh my gosh! So you guys were driving to like Camp University one time, and apparently this girl. You told us this while we were going to North Carolina, and this girl was like, "I hope we see cows because like you never see them like in Homestead or anything like that."
Really?
And we were driving and
They're
like.
Stupid.
And like you see cows on the side of the road, and somebody was like, "Hey, look!" And she was like, "Water buffalo!" And one of the couches was like, "Are you an idiot?"
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, buddy, you get off the bus. Hey,
you just blow it off the bus from Stupid Town. Me and my MA Mike at my job, he's awesome. But like, I'll say
shout
something.
Out Mike.
Yeah, shout out Mike. I'll say something.
He's funny, dude.
I'll say something, and
Swahili.
I'll be like, don't answer that. And he's like, yeah. Did you just blow off the bus from Stupid Town?
Hand me the scalpel. So he's Push Pop is freaking out because he's like, when my religion, the cow is.
No, he's like, but he keeps making all these excuses. He's like, it's an elk or a bison or a water buffalo.
American bison.
Yeah. Yes. And then Jimmy's like, it's just a cow. And he's like, just a cow.
He's like, oh, really? It's a cow. You don't say.
And he's like, in my religion, the cow is the womb from which all life is birthed.
Yes,
and he's like, don't worry about it, Push Pop. Your religion's a bunch of lies.
Yes.
At least that's what my mom says.
Yes.
And Push Pop like graciously is like,
he tells him, he's like, just go.
I need to pen.
I need to atone.
I need to atone. Yeah.
Can we atone while we drive to Niagara Falls? No, we can't.
No.
Hey, I will get bitch. I'm about to be karmically bitch slapped by Vishnu. Have you ever been bitch slapped by a 6-armed goddess?
No, I can't say that I have.
6-armed goddess.
And so he starts like walking.
Yeah.
He's walking.
And Vishnu sets up like all these flowers in a circle around the cow.
Yeah, but Push Pop, he gives him an ice cream. He gives Jimmy an ice cream.
He's like, no, you can't.
Ice cream, and he's like, no, and he just shoves it into the decontamination thing. It zips it closed.
And he's like, germs. He's like, no germs. And he's like, frozen. No germs.
Yeah.
And he starts eating it, and he's like shoving his ice.
Could you imagine? Okay, so just imagine. You have had nothing
but fiber, which he's eating at one point.
Yeah.
I forget where they are, but he's eating.
He's
one
got
of
them
the
like in his
cookies.
backpack and stuff. But he's eating these shitty fiber cookies.
Yeah.
His whole life. That's all he's had. Just garbage. And then all of a sudden, someone hands you like one of those chocolate and vanilla swirl ice cream bars.
Oh, God, dude.
And you're like, oh,
I've seen the face of God. Yeah.
Yes, for I have seen the face of God,
and it is good.
Yes. And he can't eat it fast enough. And dude, he cuts back, and poor Push Pop is just sitting on the ground,
and then
like
the bus.
and the semi comes, and it's honking at him,
and he's like,
yes, go.
And for some reason, the semi truck runs right over this cow,
and he gets covered in like the innards.
It
of
just
cow.
Straight down the middle.
Just turns it into mist
over him, and he's like, oh, and just like looking at the truck.
He's like, I'm coming back as a cockroach.
He turns his head back, and the whole middle of the cow is flattened. And that's when he says, like, I'm coming back as a cockroach.
And it happens so many times. Like, it happens, the cult bus comes and runs it over. Yeah. And then the whole biker gang chasing
goes through it, yes. And they show up, they're like, hey, you've seen a guy at Bubble Boy? So again, so they connect all the pieces.
And then,
the bikers all pull up.
And
they ask him, well, they ask him, like, have you seen the Bubble Boy? And he's like, no. And they all have their bikes parked off the side of the road. And no, they ask, have you seen a van with a bunch of crazy hippies on it, or a bus? And he's like, oh no, I can't say that I have. And then right then the bus goes by, and then it stops and backs up and runs over all their motorcycles, and they're like, ah!
And they were all eating ice cream on the thing.
Dude, it's so funny.
So they start driving.
Take the whole truck.
Take the
whole truck. I don't care. Yes. So Push Pop is like, yeah, just give it to him. Maybe as a payment for karma.
Yeah.
You're going to get bitch slapped by
and so then
Vishnu.
Yeah. And so then he goes to the town where he meets Poppy. Pappy, who's like, I'll take you to Niagara Falls. And he's like, can you get me to Niagara Falls? He's like, depends. He's like, depends on what? He goes, no, if you want me to take you to Niagara Falls, I'm going to need depends.
And $500.
And he's like, where am I going to get $500? Yes. And he turns around and there's a sign that said, winner $50. And then the LED like kicks back in and it's like $500.
The neon, baby.
Yeah. And it's like the only Chinese restaurant in this whole town.
And he walks in,
of Illinois.
and he's on like a stripper stage.
Yes.
And he walks in and he's like, and they're like, the alien.
Yes.
And he's like, I need $500. He's like, you want $500?
You want $500?
And he's like, yes.
Yes, I want.
Yeah.
You want $500?
Yes, please.
$500?
$500.
They just start screaming it at each other.
And then it turns out that he has to win a mud wrestling match.
Yes.
And that was all improv
against Stacy Keibler.
That was all Jake Gyllenhaal reacting to the guy saying $500, and then he did it. He did it once in that guy's tone. Like he got to that point of excitement, and he's like, we just kept rolling and just kept going.
So funny.
$500. They did it for like 3 minutes straight. So yeah, so then he gets in there with what's the name of the female wrestler you guys were mentioning?
Stacy Keibler.
So yeah, he finds out
so fine.
Yes, that it's mud wrestling, which I was like, this is the PG-13 part. I was like, not the dead cow in the middle of the road. I was like, here it is, because they get basically naked, and it is very graphic. And the whole time, Jake Gyllenhaal, Bubble Boy, in there, he's like, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. But he wins.
They can't pin him because every time they try to jump on him to pin him, they bounce off.
He's bouncing off.
So he gets the $500.
They can't ever put his shoulders on the ground.
Yeah,
that's right.
They're just gonna float in the bubble.
And he like can't see anything because it's covered in mud. And the guy's like, winner, and he holds up the rubber arm,
the rubber glove that's coming out of it. Again, that's one of the best parts of this movie is just watching those things flop around. Just
I thought it was genius too that they didn't like lock. They didn't lock him in
to the gloves.
Like he didn't always have his arms.
He like rarely.
He wasn't. Yeah, he was rarely had that.
Yeah, he was inside, and every once in a while he put his arms.
The only time he had to is like when he was working on the motorcycle. He had to use it.
Dude, and how funny is it? I think it's right after this part. So him and Pappy drive.
He gets in the Depends.
Yeah. They're driving down the road, and he wakes up and he looks over and Pappy's asleep.
Yes.
And he's like, he's driving the car and he's asleep. And he's like, hey, Pappy, you have a good nap?
He's like, hey, Pappy, you get any sleep last night? Ha.
Yeah.
Pappy?
Hey, Pappy. Pappy? Yeah, Pappy's straight up dead. Just behind the wheel of this car.
Pappy was gone.
Well, and before you get the story about how he doesn't talk to his brother because
of Poo Nanny.
He stole Poo-Tang.
Poo-Tang.
Yeah.
But every time he says Poo-Tang, there's the truck backfires.
Yeah, it's like
there's like Poo-Tang, and it just keeps going. And then but Pappy and he's like, got my brother Pippi.
Yeah.
And so he's got to go meet him. But eventually they get to like outskirts New York or something, and Pappy's dead at the wheel.
Yeah,
supposedly dead at the wheel.
And so he bails out of the car.
Yeah.
He gets thrown out because they go over like the dead end. It says like no enter.
No, he jumps because he's driving toward that. Yeah, and he like flies through the Niagara Falls.
Yes. Yeah, goes through and wakes up into a.
And at this
he goes
point,
into that gas station.
Yeah, so that's right. That happens now.
Yeah, he goes into that gas station.
Yes.
And he's looking in the cooler, and he's looking and he reaches through with the arms and he grabs a beer,
her favorite beer,
and he's like, It turns around and there's this cute girl standing behind the counter, and he says, I'm trying to stop a wedding, and this is the love of my life's favorite beer.
Yeah.
Can I borrow it?
Yes, can I borrow it?
And she goes, okay, sure.
Yeah.
And he walks out the door, and this caught me so off guard. It cuts back into the thing, and she's got like the dirty Harry Magnum on the guy on the ground, and she's like, "Give me all the money!" And like, what the hell just happened?
It's a 357 Magnum.
Yeah,
most powerful handgun in the world. And she's ready to unload. She's like, "Open the safe!"
Yeah. Now I know what you're thinking. Yeah. Did I fire 5 shots or 6?
Yes.
Well, you gotta ask yourself one question.
Boom arm of a mic squeaking. Sorry.
Punk.
But that's when he tries to call.
But just prior to this too, the mom has met up with the Dr. Freak, and she's like taking him as a new son.
Dude, yeah, she's treating him like a baby.
And like there's a point where they're driving,
and he's a grown man.
They hotwire a truck.
Yeah,
and the dad
what
is
like, he saying when he's like under there like whores? Lesbian sex. Like when Vern Troyer's like up underneath hot wiring the thing, he keeps saying like all this horrific stuff, and she at the same time she's praying and she's like,
"Please take it out on."
Just we're so sorry that we have to steal this truck. Yeah. Please take everything out on this midget. Like, what this little person? What is going on?
And she figures out that like he had a bad childhood because his parents never bought him a bike and all this stuff.
Or
and
she buys him puppy or
she
something.
Buys him a car seat. And he's sitting in a car seat.
Yeah, and she starts like treating him like, see, we gotta wash our hands. He put the little hand sanitizer.
Rub together. Don't know where those hands have been.
Get all that evil, that badness from the world off of you.
And the dad the whole time is just like eyeballing, like side eye.
He literally is just like so quiet.
Well, and the
like,
best is like it cuts to them driving and everybody's asleep, and Vern Troyer like turns on the radio and it's like, "Who let the dogs out?" And she's like, "Turn it back." Like, I was listening to that.
That's totally something our mother would have done.
Vern or Merle or whatever.
Where she wakes up and is like, "I was listening to that." So.
Can a girl get 5 minutes with Jesus?
Quest.
Can't even get 5 minutes of quality time with Jesus.
quick side quest here.
Yeah.
Yep. So, back in the day, my mom used to fall asleep in the TV room all the time, and that was like the room that had cable.
Yeah.
And so I would come in, and she would have been watching something, and I remember this one time specifically, but I come in and she's watching something. She's asleep.
Yeah.
And doesn't know that I've come into the room. And what she's watching ends. I was interested too. I watched the rest of it. It ends. I change the channel to something else.
Yeah.
I watch something else, like a half-hour show. It ends. I start watching something else. She wakes up and she goes, I was watching that.
Yeah.
And I go, it ended 2.5 hours ago. And I watched it. And she's like, what? I'm like, Mom, it's like 2:00 in the morning.
That happened to my mom too.
Is what you were watching on the inside of your eyelids?
Yeah, yeah. That's it was just so funny how she was so angry at me, and I'm like, Mom, relax.
Yes, no.
We watched it together. You just weren't awake.
I was here, and I left like at 3:00 in the morning because we were, college. Hanging out, and I left. I got home, and it was really strange. My mom had fallen asleep on the couch. Same thing, and she was. I don't know what she was watching, but it was long over. And so I sat down and was just kind of flipping through channels just to get tired again and go back to sleep. Sure enough, she wakes up and she's like, "Hey, why'd you change that?" And I was like, What were you watching?" And she was like, it was a movie or something. I think it was.
It was the 11 o'clock news.
Yeah, it was like or the Patriot or something. I can't remember.
The Patriot. Wow.
I think it was Mel Gibson, the Patriot. And she's
that movie might actually still have been going when
it might have been, yeah. But she was like, I was watching that. I was on TBS or something like that, and I was like, Patriot. And we went back and I looked at it. I was like, that ended at 11. And she's like, well, what time is it? And I was like, it's 4:00 in the morning. And then she turned it back on, and she's like, well, what are you still doing up? And I was like, oh, I'll go to bed.
Nice try. Nice try.
Don't change the subject.
This ain't about me.
Let's keep talking about this. You're upset at me about a movie that ended 3 hours ago.
So anyway, you get where he's only helping them because he wants his freaks back.
Yes. Yes.
Jimmy stole his freaks.
He stole his freaks. He wants his freaks back. So they're all on their own road trip.
And so then after he tries to call Chloe, he gets the fiance. He's like, even if you could get here, she can't touch you. So what's the point? You're always going to be a freak in a bubble. And he believes him. But it's funny where you were talking about the beers. Before he takes it and asks that, he grabs one and the whole shelf of beers.
Dude, the entire, not just the shelf of beers, the whole cooler that he's standing in front of.
But the best is before he tells her everything, he backs out and leaves the store. And then he runs back in. He's like, I never stole anything in my entire life.
That's right. I forgot about that.
Yes, he's like, can I just borrow my girlfriend's favorite beer?
Can I borrow this? And she's like, yeah, of course.
Yeah, fine.
Then you get the whole subversion thing where it's like the little elderly man on the floor and
the huge, massive hand cannon in his face.
Yeah. And
so he calls his parents and he's like, he's
pretty defeated. Yeah.
He's like, I want to come home.
No, he doesn't call him.
Yeah.
Does he?
No, he calls Dr. Freak.
Yeah.
And Dr. Freak's like, my cell phone, and picks it up and he's like,
but he's just sitting out in front and she pulls up.
Well, because he called Dr. Freak. She's like, stay there, don't move. And they throw him out of the car. They throw Dr. Freak out in the car seat.
In the car seat. And this little
bounces everywhere.
I mean, and it's great Vern Troyer's voice acting.
Yeah.
Over W.
Ow, ow.
Son of a, and it's so funny. But they kind of leave it a couple of frames too long because you can really see, that's a real mannequin kind of, and it got beaten up. It's bad. It's not a real person.
But when they get there and the mom's like, I got to go in and use the bathroom and then we'll leave. And the dad's like, hey, you can see the moon's out today. How crazy.
First time he talks, whole movie.
Yeah, the first time he talks the whole movie, he's like, how was it out there? And Jimmy doesn't say anything to him, and he's like, you can see the moon today. I've always thought, how weird would it have been if Neil Armstrong went all the way to the moon and never took any steps on the surface?
Never stepped on the surface.
And Jimmy's like, I gotta go.
Yeah. He just leaves.
Historical fact, there was one guy who went all the way and never got out, actually. One of the astronauts. I forget what's his name.
What an asshole.
Buzz and what a guy.
What an asshole.
But it's like they didn't have enough time. They were like, we got to go.
Didn't have enough time. You don't have time for me to step out onto the moon.
I don't know.
He had to put the suit on.
You guys are assholes.
He went the whole way. However many miles it is, got there and was not able to get out.
What assholes. Dude, I landed on the moon and never put my foot on the moon.
Never got
Give me a
to
break.
do it.
This is bullshit.
No,
you guys suck.
It's
you
all,
especially.
It's all fake. We did it in a lab.
Kevin.
He becomes the big proponent of it just because he's like butthurt that he couldn't step.
He's like, we never.
He's like, this shit's all fake. It's all fake. Fuck them. I hate them.
We never went to the moon. It was in Hollywood. We never did it.
Tyler, can you please substitute teacher history?
That's like how funny would it be?
That's why you can't go to Area 51.
How funny would it be?
Let's talk about what really happened, kids.
That's why you can't go.
You want to go down a rabbit hole?
Yeah. That's why you can't go to Area 51. It's not aliens. That's a soundstage where we film the moon landing. We never actually
can't do that.
Hey, don't get me started on Area 51.
One of my favorite teachers, though.
Great level in Tony Hawk.
No, yeah. Good one, yeah. One of my favorite teachers, though, in high school was Mr. Ratner. Shout out, Mr. Ratner. You're the best. And Mrs. Ratner. You were also awesome. But Mr. Ratner was so great about talking about conspiracy theories. And he would he would do his whole lesson and he would give you all the facts, all the dirty details and stuff like that. And then at the end, he's like, and whoever wants to talk about this a little more can stay after class for a few minutes. I'll share with you what really happened. And oh my gosh, that's where the real education started with all this. But I'll move on.
I just think they're so much fun.
Yeah. Oh, it's so fun to talk about those.
Hysterical when like my best bud, who like you can't bring up the fact that people believe that the moon landing was faked without him pinning all of their beliefs on you and like hating you for it.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, nah, dude, like it's just a fun thought exercise to like, you dive down these rabbit holes.
Why didn't it happen?
Like what? Yeah, like okay,
let's keep going.
You believe it didn't happen? Explain to me why you think it didn't happen. And it's like, okay, but it's fascinating, and they have some interesting points. Like, no, and I always preface it with, I believe, this is what I believe.
For argument's sake,
it's fun to do this.
Yeah,
it's fun to like dive into these things and look into these things. And he's like, we went to the moon, man, and I'm like, asshole. At no point did I say that I don't believe that we went to the moon. And he's like, no, but we did. And I'm like, jackass. Again. So it just goes back.
You're like the two guys on that podcast. The one guy, like, he's like, what animal do you fear least?
Yeah, the idiot.
Fish.
The idiot and the smart guy?
Yeah, and he's like...
what's it? Oh, dude, what's it called? It's right on the tip of my tongue.
And he's like, fish are an animal. He's like, yeah, they are.
He's like, what?
He's like, no, but like
real you don't see fish in zoos?
He's like, fish. He's like, no, that's because there's so many fish, they have their own zoo. Yeah. It's called an aquarium.
Oh my God. You should know, like the things you should know, something like that.
The best response to the moon landing thing is to respond to somebody and go,
it's going to bother me.
You're one of those people who believe in the moon?
You know what's super... You think the moon is real? Give me a fucking break,
bro.
Is
real? Wow,
dude. You know, it's really funny. People, I don't know how they, like, if it's clips or if he's joking or whatever, but, like, I think it's Buzz Aldrin.
It's called You Should Know Podcast.
Oh, yes.
You Should Know Podcast.
You Should Know, yes, I've heard that one. Yeah.
It's so funny. But at least the clips are. I've never listened to the whole episode, whole episode. But Buzz Aldrin, like a little girl is like, so, like, when you went to the moon or whatever, like, did you really go to the moon? And he's like, that's not an 8-year-old's question. That's like a question that I would ask. Like, and she's like, and he goes, well, the answer is that we never did.
Yeah.
And it's like, what? Like, and it's just those things. Like, like I don't know if it's taken out of context or if it's funny or if he's playing around. But then you get like those videos where like the reporter like basically accuses him of like you never went to the moon, and he literally punches the guy in the face, and he's like 98 years old, and he punches the man in the face.
You can't argue that if you keep switching his position on it, like
Well, apparently Neil Armstrong's favorite thing to do is tell like you had to be there stories, and then be like, you had to be there, like
on the moon.
So that's a joke in Big Bang Theory too, where Howard goes to the moon or goes to the International Space Station, and he can't shut up about how he just got back from space, and every single conversation, every single topic, he's like, what was crazy was being in space. And they're like, oh my God.
Tell you what was a real limit was that Soyuz capsule. But hey, that thing got me to space and back.
Yeah, exactly. And then
there was no good food on the space station. But you don't go for the food, you go for the view.
Yeah. They're trying to tell him to like stop mentioning space all the time. Like people are getting really annoyed with you, everything being about space. And he's like, it's the greatest accomplishment of my life, and you guys are trying to make me never talk about it again. They're like, we're not saying you can never talk about it, just don't bring it up all the time. And he's like, he's all butthurt. And then at the very end of the episode, Raj sends him a video, and he goes, Raj sent me a video, and she's like, what is it? And he goes, it's Neil Armstrong or Buzz Aldrin, one of the two. I don't know. And it's Halloween. Yeah. And the trick-or-treater's ring his doorbell, and he opens the door, and he's like, oh, hey, happy Halloween. Oh, here's a Mars bar, I was in space. And then he goes, okay, I get it now.
Okay,
but,
I get it now.
So back in the land of Bubble Boy.
He's getting...
Every time I watch the movie, I would get distracted at this point for some reason. But it's the cult people and the freaks.
The cult people, the freaks, the Mexican cartel.
Right, but
not the cartel, just the biker gang.
Just Danny Trejo, yeah.
So the cult people start like shape-shifting, or is it just the one guy has the dolphin fins as the freak?
They all buy they all have the T-shirt. So they all wear like the shiny and whatever T-shirt.
Right, the shiny and bright.
And they're trying to, because they're trying to figure out how to help Jimmy, and they're like, we need to blend in.
Well, no, they see the bright and shiny people taking Jimmy to go to like a ritual sacrifice like situation in the $500 town in Illinois.
$500.
And so they put on the bright and shiny shirts, and they're like, we're here to save him. Like,
he's like, I'm Mark.
Okay, so that's why they're like at the place, and then he turns around and he has like the fins, and they're like, oh my God, the change is happening.
We're mutating. It's happening. And so they freak out, and it's the freaks helping him. They're like, we'll get you out of here. And they free him. And that's when he gets in the car with Pappy.
And Beetlejuice grabs that guy's leg.
Yes, and he's
just
like,
get it off.
So funny, dude.
Yeah, and then so he gets at the point where his parents are there. They're still trying to stop him, and he goes to an airstrip and grabs onto an airplane.
Because the mom is chasing him down.
In the truck.
Like, random airplane that's taken off.
Yeah.
And so he leaves, and the guy turns around, and he's like, Pappy? And he's like, no. It's Pippi.
Yeah, it's Pappy's brother, Pippi.
Pip, who haven't talked to my brother in 60 years over Pooh Nanny. And he's like, over Pooh Nanny. And again, the plane backfires.
Over Pooh
And he goes, no, it was over Pooh Tang. He's like, no, it wasn't Pooh Tang. It was Pooh Nanny. Just like, good Lord, this movie.
So he's like, there's Niagara Falls and the church. Take me down, Pippi.
Yeah.
And he's falling asleep at the wheel, flying the airplane.
Yes.
And then he's like, no regrets. And he goes into the water and like falls off.
He jumps out the plane, falls down the falls, and like, you get this.
Then he gets into the church and he does the like, I object thing.
Yeah.
And then
he Shreks it.
Right. And he comes out of the bubble and he's like, I'd rather hold you for a minute and die than never tell you how I feel. And he like kisses her and then just like falls down dead.
Yeah. And they're all freaking out, the whole congregation.
He's got no immunities.
He's got no immunities.
And so his mom and dad get there and like she's crying and the dad's like, tell him.
Dude, could I tell you how fast I would stab you in the stomach?
You would stab those vatos. Hey.
Although he had a pretty great life.
And got his wife. So.
He had this sweet adventure, and now this hot-ass chick is like all about him. So never mind.
His mom early on goes, she's pretty proud of them boobies.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so they basically tell him like, you've had immunity since age 4.
Yeah,
like,
you've had immunity.
You were born without it,
but
because you're born without acquired immunity, and then you develop your own immunity.
Yeah,
and that happens at like age 4. So when they brought him home from the hospital, he didn't have to be in all that stuff. But the mom's like, I wanted to keep you pure and away from the world and all this stuff. And he forgives her. He's like, I forgive you. She's like, really?
Hey, Vato.
Yeah.
That's a level.
Stab this bitch.
That's a level of forgiveness. Well, and then, I don't know.
And then he comes in and he gets all upset in the church, and then he's like, Wildfire, and it turns out his mom is Wildfire, and his dad is Danny Trejo's brother.
Yes.
Who
Is it his brother?
Yeah, because he's like, my brother stole my girl. One of those, I got to get a job type guy.
Man, was it his brother?
I think it's just a brother.
I thought it was just a guy,
brother,
just like his brother
like
wanted to get a job.
a Vato, because he says everything is Vato.
Oh my gosh,
dude! The weirdest part of the whole movie. And so they leave. They fall in love.
First of all, he's in his underwear.
Right, because the bubble.
He's in these printed tiny white.
No, because the bubble had built-in pants.
Right.
So the bubble fell down.
Yeah, they do this great scene together, and it's like, what? I'm not dying. And then he stands up.
It's not only that he's in underwear. He has like Spider-Man underwear.
Yes,
or
that's what I'm saying. It's like cowboy underwear.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure I saw a cowboy hat on those.
And then
Matt zoomed in.
I did.
Yeah, he was pausing.
It's Jake Gyllenhaal.
He was printing.
Ask Tom Holland.
Screenshot, printed.
If you're not zooming in, you're not watching.
Blown up on his ceiling when he goes to bed at night.
I got a poster.
Enhanced. Hey, can you zoom in on that? Sure. But so they end up getting married, and everybody is there.
And the new head of the cult is
Fabio is still there as the head of the, but
no. They all are following Push Pop.
Oh yeah, Push Pop. That's right.
They're following Push Pop, but Fabio's there.
Yeah, and he's got the cow.
Yeah,
and he's like, the buffet is served, and I guess the buffet is like on the cow's back too, and like people are all standing around the cow.
Yeah, and the best is he's like, you guys don't have to follow me this close.
Yeah, but my favorite part of that part is when it cuts and it's the mom and she's got like the Jesus fish tattoo, but it's like there's like a hook and a line, and now there's water. There's like a boat. Like what?
Okay,
and then it pans out a little bit, and Danny Trejo, she's like holding like around him, and she's like, "You ready, wildfire?" And she's like, "Yeah,
yes,
whatever." And then it pans out a little further. Dad's driving the motorcycle, and they're like, "Yeah, let's go!" And like they all drive away together, like all sitting like.
Dude, yeah.
And then the Asian guy, he's like, "For the honeymoon," and he's like, "What is it?" It's $500. $500.
And he keeps going $500.
And he's like, "It's a long story."
Yeah.
I'll explain it on the honeymoon. It's fine. It's they get in their getaway
car. And I never realized how often Travis was quoting this movie.
Oh, really?
Yes, because every time Travis. Something would happen, like Travis would be doing something, I'd be like, "Great, what is that?" And Travis would be like, "Bonani." And what it is Pappy and Pippi are driving their just married car, and this like geisha lady comes up in the middle, and he's like,
really old.
He's like,
lady.
Are you Punte? She's like,
"No,
Bonani,
Bonani."
I think that's the last line of the whole movie.
It is.
I think it is the last word spoken.
They drive away to the California, coast or countryside, and they got cans on the back of the car.
To the sound of Punani.
Which actually is funny because then like I watched all the way through the credits, which like you do, because with some of these movies like they hide stuff. You never know. And at the end, it's this random clipping of Beetlejuice yelling shit. What is he? He's like,
I love Cadillacs. Like something like that.
Some weird
just Beetlejuice being Beetlejuice. Yeah.
And at the beginning, I thought it was weird with the credits too. It was like, this is one of the only movies where there's like no opening credits.
It just like starts.
Yeah, dude. It's kind of like, I think they flash like the production the studio, and then it's like boom, it goes.
We're in it. Yeah, we're in it. Which
he starts talking immediately. It's the baby's rolling down the hallway. Like, I like that. Like,
we're just gonna get into it.
Like, if I care enough to know who's in it,
we're just gonna get in there like swimwear.
Now, if you make like Deadpool and Wolverine and you make the opening credits that badass, I'll watch them every time.
Deadpool just adamantiming bye
everything.
Just fucking.
Yeah, I'd watch it again easily. So recommended? I mean,
Deadpool
I know.
And Wolverine?
No. Bubble Boy.
Oh yeah.
Bubble
Boy. So
it's a funny movie.
I realized like you guys didn't have nostalgia for it, but like
much better than I anticipated.
Okay, good. All right. Well, I mean,
it's a funny movie.
Some losses. What was the other one I suggested to you guys? What the hell is this?
Labyrinth. I'd never seen Labyrinth.
It was what did we do?
It was recently.
Oh, it was
It was the Haunted Mansion.
No, it was the one. It was the one with the little kid who goes and he's in like Rome, and then he's in.
Time Bandits.
Yes, I was like, what the?
No, I knew Time Bandits. The movie that I was texting him on the side was the Haunted Mansion.
Haunted Mansion.
And I'm like, what the fuck are we watching? We're doing The Shining and the Haunted Mansion. It turned out to be great, like we talked about.
Tower of Terror.
Tower of Terror. Sorry. You mentioned Haunted Mansion, I think, last week.
The one that I texted Tyler, and it wasn't about the movie being good or bad. It was just, what the fuck is this? Was Time Bandits, because I was like, dude, I had to start it over so many times because I was like, what the fuck is going on?
How the fuck did we get here?
The fuck did we get ice cream?
Yeah.
Love that movie.
Dude, I gotta tell you, I get, I feel rewarded when people are like, what the hell is this?
Okay, I'll start texting in the group chat like, Matt, what the fuck?
Yes.
Yeah, every time I text you on the side, you should be like, hey, Tyler just texted me. What the fuck are we watching?
Yes. Just do that, and I'm just gonna copy it and send it in. I'm like, hey, this is from Tyler.
Yeah, because like originally when I first did this show, which was back in 2019, I did it with my wife Sarah, who did not watch a lot of TV. did not watch a lot of movies. Not this show. No. But
you did a similar show.
We did a similar show that was similar
Not
to
this
Nostalgialand.
Can't have this show without us.
But not this one without you. But
Can't triple stamp, double stamp.
Can't triple stamp, double stamp.
But when we started watching stuff and I would explain to her, she would go off and watch it so that I wouldn't be sitting there giving her opinions. So she would go off and watch some of the stuff that I would tell her, yeah, we're going to watch this movie like Mummy's Alive or Street Sharks. And she'd be like,
Sharks.
What?
That's the one you did.
Yes. And she would text me back. She'd be like, what the hell is this? None of it makes sense. And she's like, why did you like this as a child? And it's just funny because she has no reference for it.
That's why.
Yeah, for real. Street Sharks?
Street Sharks was awesome. Yeah, we did a lot about
rollerblading
that.
mutated sharks? Fuck yeah. Sign me up, dude.
The Turtles
Biker Mice from
Streets.
Mars?
Yeah. Biker. Yeah, we should do some of those shows.
Battletoads?
Battletoads, yeah.
Decent Mario Kart
SWAT
style
Cats?
game. Biker Mice from Mars. For
Oh, hell
those.
yeah.
Yes.
SWAT
You
Cats?
could make the same kind of SWAT Cats. Hell yeah, SWAT Cats.
Yeah. But we did Mummy's Alive. Do you guys remember that?
I remember
I don't think so.
I remember
With the power of Raw.
Yeah.
Was it like Mad Max, Mummy's Alive, or something
Kinda.
like that, or something like that?
No.
it was
Remember
in a
those-
similar.
remember those, like-
it was in a similar vein to Mad Max. Yeah.
Remember those toys? They were like it wasn't like Max or it was something Max.
You're right.
Mighty
it
Max,
was Max.
Mighty Max.
Mighty Max. That's
Mighty
it.
Max.
And there was a talking chicken who had this great like Fraser Crane voice. Yeah, and I mean he's brilliant. He was like, we should
Not
go
like
back.
that.
We should watch some of those. We should do some of those episodes. But yeah, I'm glad you guys enjoyed it at least. Bubble Boy. I mean, it's worth
It's
a
funny.
shot. It's a great road trip movie.
It's very funny to like it's like a stupid slapstick ridiculous
Yes,
movie.
It's dumb.
We're like, hey, do you want to just like laugh for a little bit? Because this movie is like, do you want to? I've never done them, but do you want to do shrooms and watch this movie? Because it seems like it'd be kind of ridiculous.
This is worth a couple gummy cookies.
Like, I've never.
That would be for time in.
Oh my God, you want to
the
die?
or the kangaroo movie.
oh God,
Warriors of Virtue.
Warriors
and
of
their
Virtue. Fucking movie, dude.
When they become the Planeteers.
It's funny. It's funny too because as bad as Warriors of Virtue was, it's not that bad. Like it's watchable.
My only problem with Time Bandits
time.
is it was confusing as shit.
because they
Yeah,
kept
it's pretty
jumping
confusing.
time
And
places.
just like why?
Yeah,
yeah.
none of it made any sense as
I
to
feel
why.
like
Because he
they're
read
doing
a
this.
comic book? Like I don't understand.
Well, and at the end, it just like destroys all of your like. Okay, so they're doing it for like money, and they're
Yeah,
trying to,
okay,
like,
we're
and then
here.
it's like, oh wait, God knew what they were doing the whole time.
Yeah.
and then just like, yeah, clean it all up, get everything together, and then
I'm gonna murder this kid's
at the
parents.
end, yeah, his parents are dead, and the kid is just like there by himself. Now?
Yeah.
like what is
Now
happening?
now you're an
what
orphan.
is going on?
I'm gonna send you back to Sean Connery.
Now go inherit a chocolate factory. You're
Yeah.
done. You're done.
Dude, I
Yeah,
saw
dude.
the funniest thing where it was like, what's wrong with men and women's sports, or what's wrong with transgenders?
Doesn't
Lord.
go to the marshmallow room. It goes to the fudge room.
Because that pipe doesn't go to the marshmallow room; it goes to the fudge room.
That's how we get canceled. Good night, everybody. It's been great being with you.
I didn't make the beep.
That's the
Thanks so much for
Animaniacs.
joining
Good night,
us.
everybody.
Good night, everybody. Yeah.
Thanks so much for joining us. We really appreciate you. Check us out on all the platforms, on the Tiki Talkies, on the YouTube, Tubins. On the YouTube, you get to see us on video.
And you can
like,
comment
subscribe.
and request stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Comment.
Comment.
If you comment, if you have questions, if you want to add stuff, you know,
Please.
I check it. I try to check it, and we'll write back to you.
Or do it on the Instagrams.
Yeah, you can shoot us DMs on the gram. You can
Respond to a
comment on our
story, do
videos.
whatever.
You want to do. We're here. Just the other day, Matt's been testing our live feature, and I noticed that some people that I knew were tuned into the live, and they shouted me out on the live. They chatted me, so that was cool.
That's
That was awesome.
I didn't
I'm
see
hoping to
that.
get back into the streaming.
I happened to join at the same time as them because I was working, but I saw that we were up, so I jumped on there, and they were on at the same time. And I was like, "Hey, I just want to say love you." I'm like, "Love you too."
Yeah.
I'd like to stream us playing like zombies in Call of Duty, but
Yeah.
I got to figure out how I can do it and still hear you guys in the chat because that would be really shitty.
Just you talking. Yeah. And then we got to be careful.
you
We got to
bet-
be able to edit
I'll
that.
try to figure that out. Yeah.
Well, they don't even have to be able to hear you.
No, they need to be able to hear me. I'm like the one that's ridiculous. Says a bunch of random shit.
Ridiculous.
We played a little sidebar before we end. We played with this kid Noah, who I used to be he used to be a student when I was a teacher.
Oh, cool.
And he asked like, okay, now that I'm graduated, can like we play? It was during COVID, and I'm always like the revive guy in zombies. Like, oh, you're up.
Yeah.
I had more revives than he had kills.
Like, I've never seen so many.
I had like 197
almost,
revives or something.
Wow, dude. Just picking them up. Man, dude. Yeah. Well, you get trapped in a corner. You don't know what to do.
It's scary.
No, he just would run away by himself. I'll never forget, we played a Warzone with him one time. This was back in Verdansk. And, like, we're pretty good about working together.
Yeah.
And we're like, okay, we're gonna go here. We're gonna go over here. And 3 of us start going that way. And this kid starts wandering off in the other direction, like calling people out as we're still working as a team and speaking and calling stuff out and obviously moving in a different direction than him. And one of us keeps going, hey, we're going this way. Hey, we're going this way. Hey, we're going this way. And then he's like, oh my gosh, where are you guys? And it's like he's halfway across the map.
Yeah.
And he's by himself and he's like, hey, I'm down. Can someone pick me up? Wait, where are you guys? And we're like, we're over here. Like we said like 1,000 times, you jackass.
West? I thought you said east.
Yeah, exactly.
What do you mean west?
It's so funny,
way.
dude. Like what are you talking about, dude? But anyway, thank you so much. Check us out. Please comment if you have anything to say, if you have anything to add. We really appreciate you guys. We do this for you as much as for us. It's super fun for us to get together and just be a bunch of dummies talking to each other. And we love to play bad movies in the background.
It's Patrick Stewart.
This is a really bad movie. But yeah.
Stay tuned for that one.
We'll see what we got in store. If you got any ideas for the Thanksgiving season, if you got any movies you really want to see for the Christmas season or for the beginning of next year, hit us up. We'd love to do what you guys want to hear. And not just the stuff that we love. We want it to be nostalgic for you too. Until next time.
I'm Matt.
Oh, wait. Time out. Sorry to do this.
Ooh.
Check us out on Etsy at Nostalgialand Shop.
Perfect.
And nostalgialandshop.com.
Nostalgialand Podcast.
Nostalgialandpodcast.com.
That's the one.
Our shops, and check out the products that we have, like our cups, our shirts. Check us out. Please, if you can, leave reviews if you like them. I haven't gotten a bad thing from us yet, so I'm super proud of that. They send good stuff. Now we're gonna do it.
Yes, more shirts are coming though.
That's
Matt,
Trey,
and I'm Tyler. Cowbunga. Way to go.
Whoops.
Oh.
Yeah.